Perfect. Well, welcome everyone to another passion interview from the Linn Academy. The purpose of our sessions that we have here with our graduates of the Linn Academy is really to highlight the things that they're passionate about in an effort to help you become passionate, kind of inspire you to also follow your passions. My name is Bill Schwingle. I am a part of the Linn Academy, have been for several years, and I'm honored today to have Kerry Dalzotto with us. She's going to be sharing with us some really great insight and techniques and tips around kind of connecting with her own kind of inner guidance, and also kind of share what she's learned as a part of the Linn Academy. She, just to give you a little bit of background on her, so she has gone through advanced soul coaching. Soul coaching is one of the really powerful programs that is part of the Linn Academy that really helps us to kind of connect and be authentic. She also is a part of the Red Lotus program and also an elemental space clearing practitioner. And for those who don't know about these programs, these are programs that were initiated and founded by Denise Linn. Denise Linn is one of those kind of amazing individuals who, in one sense, brings great wisdom. And, many consider her kind of a hidden talent, but she's, I would say, a modern day mystic. And she brings not only these great understandings of what she learned around the world, talking to various cultures, but she has a beautiful humility about her that really helps people to connect with her and her teachings. And her teachings are just really profound, whether it is soul coaching or feng shui or space clearing. So with all that said, I do want to welcome Kerry. Thank you so much for being with us today and sharing with us your passions.
Thank you, Bill, and thank you for having me. And I cannot speak more highly about the Linn Academy. And I first came to know Denise through it was probably maybe 12 or 13 years ago. She came over here to Australia and she spoke at an I Can Do It conference. And I hadn't heard anything about Denise until that point. And the moment she got on stage and her presence and just her down to earth approach with everything that she had to share with us all. And I thought, I didn't know what it was about this woman, but I knew there was something in there that I needed to pursue and continue to follow. And from that point on, I started to learn about her and buy some of her books and do some of her reading. And then it was about 10 years ago, I did the elemental space clearing work online, that program, and that was phenomenal. And I've had a background of almost 20 years in the health and wellness industry, and pulling together my love of aromatherapy as well, the elemental space clearing course through the plant kingdom and connecting through the mineral kingdom and mudras and clearing and cleansing a home to make it a space that energizes and uplifts you. And I have a love of creating altars as well. And that course particularly, it started to really invoke a love of the work that you can do to not only enhance your home, but in turn your life as well. And from there, I went across, well, a couple of things. I did a lot of her the soul coaching book. I did that several times, and it just, even just working on it myself, I just knew that this work has such power. And through aspects within the soul coaching, there's those aspects of turning points. And two of my major turning points have been a miscarriage that I had prior to the birth of my daughter, who's going to be 16 this year, and also a near-death experience that I had in India. And it was after that time that I came back and I thought, I really want to explore this even further. And that's when I went to look into training for the soul coaching. And I went across and I studied with Luann Sibbick, as you have trained with her for different things as well. And she's just phenomenal. And then I did my advanced soul coaching later with Kyla Tustin as well back here in Australia. And so I feel like I've had the best of both worlds with the two of them as well. So
absolutely.
Yeah, and then in between that, there was an opportunity that came up for the Red Lotus work, and so I went over to Star Mountain Ranch in California and stayed with Denise, and that that time was where it really pulled everything together. All of
Mm,
my, not only the teachings through the Linn Academy, but everything I've ever done. And it pulled it all together to say, what is it that you want to do with this work? What are you excited about? How can you weave all of this together to
mm,
help those around me? And I remember sitting around in circle one of those afternoons, and Denise said, "So who here has a book inside of them?" And I knew it was a truth within me that I would
mhm,
write a book, but I
mhm,
wasn't yet ready to share it. And
mhm,
I guess you know similarly, Bill, that sometimes there's aspects where something's still germinating within and we're not quite ready to share it. But
mhm,
with me, it was an aspect too of using my voice and being able to speak up and say, yes, I actually do have a book that I want to write, and that's a part of the work that I do as well. Today is to helping empower, particularly women, to use their creativity and be able to speak their truth. And yeah, so I'm very proud to say that I have now this book in my hand.
mhm,
That book that I would honestly say that started as a seed back in
mhm.
that time in California as well. It was germinating a long time prior to that,
Sure.
but I set the seed then that yes, even though I couldn't voice it at the time to say yes, I would write one, I knew it was the truth. And I think that's a big catch cry of soul coaching too, that the soul loves the truth. So yeah.
Absolutely. And so, in all that kind of work that you've done and kind of the experiences that you've had, one of the things that you're doing now and through that book, I believe, is really helping women to kind of connect. Can you talk a little bit more about how the soul coaching and the Red Lotus, just the things that you've learned have helped you now help women today, either through your book or through other forms?
Sure. I feel like, especially as women, or in general, we all do, when there's past conditionings or emotions that we've been holding on to, we can often push down, suppress those emotions,
Mhm,
and they've got to store somewhere in the body. And as women in particular, we can often, the storehouse for those inner woundings can often be within our womb space, which is seat of creativity. It's our sacral chakra. It's that area that not only helps to give birth to children, but it's also using that womb space to give birth to ideas and creative endeavors. And a lot of times, our inner woundings can hold us back.
mhm,
And within my book, I try to embody that aspect that it doesn't matter how many times we fall, it's that ability to rise above and to also see that while things may have happened along our path, to those emotions that are not necessarily what we would like to hold, though we can transform those into to wisdom as well. So it's about honoring the person that is, the
mhm,
person that was, and the person that will be. And it's
mhm,
about using everything that we've learned along the way. And I mentioned about turning points before, of seeing that everything that happens throughout life is an ability to learn from and to use that. So
mhm,
um, one of the major areas that I like to help my clients to see is that using nature to being getting outside and being able to immerse in the rhythms and the cycles of nature, which correlate to the rhythms and cycles inside of us as well. And to be able to see that we can use to bring in elements of nature into our homes as well.
mhm,
Um, and particularly, I have a love of aromatherapy. So being able to bring in those essential oils to be able to enhance your home space and in turn your
mhm.
life as well, and crystal healing and other prompts.
Yeah, that's amazing. And it's so powerful, right? To be able to kind of take control of your own experience like that. And, for those who are listening and hearing what you're saying, but maybe don't know where do they begin? What would you recommend for them?
Sure. I feel like innately we always know what the body needs and wants from
Mhm,
us, and the soul knows what we need, but its ability to be able to slow down. And we live in such a fast-paced world where everything's go, go, go. And a big part of my book and the teachings that I share, especially for women, is to say we don't have to be in this state of fast-paced nature all the time. We're not meant to be in that way. As
Mm.
as humans, we, to get into working with that nature as well, that we go through those cycles where, particularly, well, here in Australia right now, we're in winter. So it's that time of honoring that introspection and going within and slowing down. And I feel like when people do give themselves that opportunity to slow down, they can really hear what's actually going on around them. And there's a few things that I wanted to share today as well, is
Please.
ways that people can use their intuition to be able to tune in a bit more. So I'll just share a little bit about things that I like to share with others, and it's rituals that I incorporate in my own daily life as well. Is that upon waking of a morning, is, we're so often to reach for our devices, and
Mhm.
instead of doing that, of just taking that time to just tune inward. And I like to place one hand on the heart and one placed upon the womb space, and
Mhm.
just closing my eyes for a moment and just saying, what does my body, what does my soul want me to know today? Just
Mhm.
before everything happens, before life starts happening around you, and just listening and tuning inward. And how do I want to feel today?
Mhm.
And um, what do I want to create today, as well as that mindset starts the moment we get up.
Mhm.
And Denise has written so many amazing oracle card decks and things,
Mhm.
and soul coaching is one that, I love profoundly. As
Mhm.
I love all of her ones, but
There's
and
just so
any
many that are great. I love them.
there's everything. I love these ones too, with the questions that are at the ends of them. But
Mhm.
with why I wanted to pull out the soul coaching ones is that I feel like with these ones in particular, um, the answer is are really simple. And
Mm.
it's often we try to get ourselves to, we think too much, we overthink, and
Mhm.
it's like the answers are really often very simple.
Mhm.
So just pulling a card in the morning as well, and being able to tap into that intuition.
Mhm.
And also, one thing that I love to share as well is that with essential oils, I've got a box here that are, these are actually all related to my book as well. Every
Mm.
chapter has an essential oil that's associated with it,
Mm.
but using essential oils as a way of tapping into your intuition as well, of just scanning your hand over a few and just pulling one out. And this one's ylang ylang, but
Mm.
of just using it in the same way of what does my body, what does my soul want me to know today? But it's
Mm.
of just wafting that around. And if this oil had a message for me, what
Mm.
would it be? And
Mhm.
it's just another way of bringing in the plant kingdom, and of just honoring that fact. And then you can use that in a diffuser throughout the day, through the home, or dropping onto a tissue and carrying that with you, so that you're constantly connecting with nature,
Mhm.
but you're also bringing that aspect of using your intuition.
So when you're working with the oils, and especially for those who may be new to essential oils, how do you select an oil, to start with, perhaps if you haven't worked with them much, and once you have, what would you suggest for connecting? How do you connect with an oil
Sure.
once you've found it?
Yeah. One of the, probably, lavender is one of the ones that is a pretty readily available and
Hmm.
fairly inexpensive as well. But um, just trying with a few to start with, and just being able to, the essential oils as well, because of their aroma,
Hmm.
has a deep impact on our limbic system and the olfactory system. So it's memory recall as well. So that's how I like to incorporate it within my book as well, that's how you can tune in and be able to, what does this have a message for me? Or being able to use that to say, well, if there was a memory associated with these oils, what
Hmm.
is that, and how can I explore that even further? So um, there's certainly many ways that we can use essential oils, whether it's like I said, diffusing, or
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, obviously being mindful of not placing them direct onto they would have to be in a carrier oil if you're going to be using those too. But I share a lot of aspects in my book as well of how to connect further.
Yeah.
Um, and
Do you have a favorite? I mean, oil. I mean, I will say that lavender is one of my favorites. And I also like orange, and sage is beautiful. But do you have any favorites that you like to work with?
I do, and one of them is bergamot, which is
Mm,
a citrus-based oil, and it does
hmm
smell a little bit like orange as well. But it's and I don't know where that's come from, but I've just always loved it. And I
mm,
find that there'll be either some oils that people will really love, or they'll be
hmm
like, "Oh, I'm not sure what that is." And when that comes up, I like people to explore. Well, what is it that you're not really
hmm
liking about that oil? Because there's always a message in there somewhere.
Right.
And but yeah, lavender for me, it always connects me to my grandmother as well.
Mm,
So
that's lovely.
that ancestral healing, which I go through as
Mm,
well with a lot of my clients, connecting in with our ancestors, and that's a great one to connect in.
mm.
So
I love that.
one other area that I wanted to share with you all is crystals. So the
Mm-hmm.
mineral kingdom, and you can do that similarly. Is just having a few just to start with, and using that too. If there's a crystal that would like to work with me today, what would that be? And the message
Mm-hmm.
that we have from that as well. So there's so many ways that we can incorporate nature
Mm-hmm.
into our daily lives. So
Mm-hmm.
and one other area is clutter clearing as well, which when we can clear out our clutter, and as you know, Bill, it's never about the things,
Yeah.
never about the
Mm-hmm.
things. So being able to clear our space as well, and be able to have our homes be that beautiful reflection of the person that we are and the person we're stepping into.
It's so powerful, clutter clearing, how it is that kind of releasing and letting go. And to your point, right? It's not about the thing as much as the association we have with what's around us, what's in our environment. It's such a powerful, powerful way to shift our energy. Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. So in terms of kind of what you're hoping to do, right? So you obviously do great work with essential oils, you do with crystals, and just kind of giving people insight into how do you start your day. With kind of, I guess, what would be next for you in terms of helping clients or helping others to really bring nature more into their worlds? What do you see ahead for yourself?
For myself or for clients with working with
For both.
okay. As I mentioned before, like working with nature is, I feel, one of the greatest healing catalysts for change.
Hmm
And we are so much under artificial lighting these days.
hmm
And I really, really encourage my clients to get out there. And, even if it's when you're walking your dog, just taking notice of the trees around you, if there's any clouds, anything that's the universe is always speaking to us, and it's just a
hmm
matter, as I mentioned before, of slowing down and
hmm
being able to tune in. So yeah, being able to go barefoot as often as we can as well, and just connecting with the earth. There's so much that we can learn from the natural world around us. And I think if we can get back to the way our ancestors used to
hmm
uh, be more in sync with ourselves as well. And I know, for instance, you're a big lover of the medicine wheel as well as I am.
Absolutely. Hmm
Just connecting in and knowing that we go through different phases throughout our life, and every stage is a phase as well. That
hmm
there are times to go out and exude our energy, and there are times to sort of retract and to take that quiet time too, and they're all as important as each other. So yeah, just really honoring where we're at.
Absolutely. It's such a key to finding balance, right? And nature is such a good template for us to remind us how
Mhm.
to do that. So it looks like we're getting close to the end of this. I can't believe that we've been going we're almost done. But so I did want to give people an opportunity, who are interested in kind of what it is you're doing, interested in your book, interested in kind of what you have coming up next. What's the best way for them to reach you?
Sure. My website is probably the easiest, which
Mm-hmm.
is www.kerrydalzotto.com. So
Okay.
just my name. And then from there, I've got social media as well from my business, Sacred Wellness.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you can get to from there or subscribing to my newsletter. I
Okay.
also offer soul coaching one-on-one or in group
Mm-hmm.
online. So Zoom is an amazing facility these days for
Yes.
connecting in and obviously, if you're here in Australia, I do a lot of in-person work as well. But certainly, yeah, through online work is certainly available too. And I did want to share, if I possibly could, just
Oh,
one
yes, please.
aspect of my book,
Mm-hmm.
which sort of ties in with that aspect of accessing. And the subtitle of this is How to Access Your Power and Potential to Create Lasting Happiness.
Mm-hmm.
But within every chapter, there is a what I call a seed to wrap up the chapter and to
Mm-hmm.
give you a little bit insight as well. So this one is seed number 13. And when you honor, cherish, and send loving energy toward your home, you permit yourself to do the same within. The internal environment aligns with the internal environment, and harmony and respect prevail. By bringing the sacred into your home and the rituals you create through your day, you enable further nourishment to your soul and the ability to water the seeds of your glorious future. So it really is about connecting in and just
Mm-hmm.
honoring your home and honoring and nourishing yourself.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That's such a great message and such a powerful kind of way for people to start thinking about how they can really bring the sacred into their lives and how impactful it can be. So thank you so much for sharing about kind of all that you kind of bring, your wisdom, the information about the crystals and the essential oils, and really just helping people to start their own ritual every day. It's just so powerful and really appreciate everything you bring and share. So with that, I will close out. For those again who want to reach out to Kerry, go to her website, www.kerrydalzotto.com. You can find out some great information, also kind of learn more about her book, and also her classes and her one-on-one, so the soul coaching, which is so powerful as she shared. And if you're looking for more information about the Linn Academy, you can also go to linnacademy.com. So lots of information for everyone. Thanks again, Kerry, so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.